Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that may link with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Busy transfer market so far, especially for the Premier League. You know what, I was reading yesterday. This is crazy, right? Just goes to show you how strong the Premier League is right now. That the Premier League has spent nearly just over £300 million already this January transfer window. Remember, the window hasn't finished yet. £300 million, a lot of that's Chelsea, but £300 million already. The rest of Europe, that's La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, Ligue 1. The rest of Europe so far has spent around about 40 million. That's crazy, isn't it? It just shows you the strength and the money that's there in the Premier League, you know, because of the mega TV deals that we have over here. And of course, Arsenal have been one of those clubs that have been really busy in the transfer market. We know Trossard is done. Also, the signing of Jakub Kiwior from Spezia, centre-back who's been bought in. And, you know, we were reading yesterday that Juventus a little bit upset because they wanted this guy, but Arsenal moved in and have got him. Apparently, Arsenal have been, you know, looking at him for months. So I like the way Arsenal are doing their business at the moment. They're moving in silence on a lot of these players they're trying to get. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep the Mudryk one silent. That one went on, and actually he looked pretty good when he came on for Chelsea yesterday. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Now, who else is Arsenal going to get? Centre-back secured. Somebody who can play across the front three, you know, secured, which is great, you know what I mean? Because we needed options there by bringing in Trossard. But another area that a lot of Arsenal fans are worried about is the defensive midfielder position. I speak to Arsenal fans regularly and they're like, Robbie, what if anything happens to Thomas Partey? Defensive midfielder is so important nowadays. It's the key to how your team plays. Now, we've been linked with a couple. This one was really interesting yesterday to learn that Arsenal tried to make a move for this defensive midfielder called Martin Zubimendi. He plays for Real Sociedad, Spanish, 23 years of age. Now, he's got a £52 million release clause. And according to Carousel Deportivo, Arsenal were willing to meet that release clause. £52 million, a lot of money for a player that I have to admit, up until yesterday, I wasn't really familiar with. And Arsenal were willing to meet that clause. Now, the player himself has said he does not want to leave Real Sociedad in January. He doesn't want to leave mid-season. He'll be interested at the end of the season, but right now, mid-season, he doesn't want to leave Real Sociedad. So it doesn't look like Arsenal are going to go back in for him right now. But that's interesting. It shows that Arsenal, again, are really scoping and looking for players. And again, this would have been another young option, 23 years of age. Obviously, looks like the type of signing that they're looking at and thinking, right, we're bringing him in for him to be the successor to Thomas Partey when Partey eventually moves on. So I like how Arsenal are planning at the moment. This is good planning. Now, there's another rumour around today that, you know, now that they've missed out on this guy, they're also interested in another defensive midfielder. Now, this is a guy that we've been linked with for years. I remember back in like 2014 talking about this guy on Transfer Daily. That's how mad this is. And it's William Carvalho, right? William Carvalho. He now plays for Real Betis, defensive midfielder, Portuguese international, valued at around about £15 million now. Now, the transfer expert, Kiki Marin, he claims that Arsenal are interested in signing him. However, he goes on to say in his tweet that it might be difficult to get done because a lot of the signing, or there's a sell-on fee, basically, between Real Betis and Sporting Lisbon, which was his previous club. And it looks like Sporting Lisbon would get a big chunk of that. So that complicates the deal. You know what I mean? Will, Betis say to himself, well, what's the point in selling him right now? We're not even going to get that much money for him because a lot of that's going to go to Sporting. But Arsenal apparently interested in him. He's 30 now. So that's the thing that interests me. I'm like, right, he's be a very experienced guy, international. He's been around the block a little bit. But to bring in a 30-year-old, is also looking at some experience as well as the young players. But William Carvalho, according to Kiki Marin, is interesting Arsenal. It just goes to show that they are looking for players in that defensive midfielder position. But what does that do for Mohamed Elneny? Great servant to the club. He's sort of that player that anytime, Thomas Partey's out, it's Elneny who comes in. There's been some rumours flying around today linking him with a move to Trabzonspor in Turkey. Of course, we know that he played in Turkey before. He was on loan at Besiktas and did very, very well there, by the way. We've also heard rumours this month of Aston Villa, that Unai Emery was interested in him. I don't know. I don't know. I'd be really, really surprised if Arsenal let Mohamed Elneny leave. Even if they bought in another defensive midfielder right now, I'd be kind of shocked because he's just really is such a team player. And in a title push, you want those sort of team players. At the end of the season, yes, but I'd be surprised if they let Elneny leave now. But let's wait and see how that one turns out. Remember yesterday I spoke about Eduardo Camavinga. The links are linking us with a loan move to him. I said that I'd love that if that happens. Doesn't look like it's going to happen now. His agent came out yesterday and said, listen, Camavinga's not going anywhere. Camavinga's staying at Real Madrid. Ancelotti, the manager, Carlo Ancelotti, he also came out and said, not for sale, untouchable. Even though I've not been playing him as much as I want, I still want him here at the club. But, interestingly, Camavinga liked a tweet from a Twitter account called ArsenalBuzz.com, which was talking about, linking him with a move to Arsenal. Mind you, how did that work out last time we had a player that kept liking Instagram posts and liking tweets? And did he come? No, right? So ignore all that. I don't think Camavinga will be moving by the looks of it this month. But listen, it would have been nice. But I doubt it's going to happen. This one could happen. Ivan Fresneda, talking about it every day. The right back being linked with a move to Arsenal. At first, I thought to myself, why would Arsenal need another right back? But Arsenal obviously preparing for the future here. Fabrizio Romano reporting that he's been told that the representatives of Fresneda have been in talks with Arsenal, and apparently they visited the training ground as well. So this is one that could happen. He was on the bench for Real Valladolid yesterday. Could happen. It'd be interesting to see. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Cedric. Cedric could move on this week to Fulham, and Fresneda may come in. Now, whether he'll come straight in, because, on the right back position, you've got Tomiyasu, you've got Ben White, both of them top players. Be very hard for him to get into that right back position right now. But Arsenal definitely preparing for the future with these sort of players. Remember, he's only a youngster, still only 18. So let's see what happens with that. But Ivan Fresneda still linked with a move to Arsenal today. So Arsenal pretty busy at the moment in the January transfer window. Mikel Arteta, as I said, he said, we need to strengthen. I need to get players in. I think, the fact that, we're in this title race right now, they're wary of the fact that the squad is still pretty small. If they're going to sustain a title bid and a Europa League bid, the squad needs to be stronger. So hopefully we can get some of these signings done. A defensive midfielder would be absolutely perfect to cover that area this January transfer window. But let's see what happens. Thanks for watching the show today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.